Hello to all my film fans and nerds, and especially for this video, my horror film fans. Welcome to Film Obsessed. Today we are talking about the brand new film that just released in theaters, A Quiet Place Day 1. I am going to be giving my commentary review of the film, of which I describe as a haunting tale of the good in humanity. There will be spoilers ahead, so you've been warned. I'll be sure to let you know when those spoilers do come. Sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and let's jump right into the video. A Quiet Place Day 1 is the third film in the Quiet Place franchise and is a prequel film showcasing the beginning of the apocalyptic alien event that ravaged humanity for the worst. Obviously, everyone here knows the gimmick and concept behind this franchise in that you are unable to make a single noise or you will die to the aliens who, while blind, have supersonic hearing. In this movie, we see that first day of what it was like for humanity when they came down from the sky, and it takes another twist where we set it in New York City, one of the loudest places on the planet. Overall, this is a film that I really like when comparing it to the rest of the franchise. To this day, I absolutely love the first film because it was the first and it showcased that original idea in a great way when being directed by John Krasinski. However, I am in the very small minority when it comes to the second film, of which I actually found to be a little disappointing. It was still a decent movie, but I found it to be fundamentally flawed in its story, given it pretty much feels like the same movie as the first, just with a couple different things added in. Here we are now with the third film, which follows new characters, a new story, a new environmental setting, but also showcases something else in its themes that I think made me really happy to want to talk about it here today even more. I wrote something down after watching the movie that resonated with me that I want you all to hear, and it goes like this. In this movie, humanity is dying off, but the one thing that is not dying off is the humanity in people. That, to me, is the driving theme of the film that I came to find the beauty in. The film is a survival movie, first and foremost, above anything else, but right behind it is also a tale of what good humans can do for each other if they were to ever find themselves in a scenario like this, where the world was ending and they might have nothing else left. It's a theme that I think was not as explored much in, say, the second film, for example. I know the second movie takes place much further into the apocalypse than this one, where it starts, and you can see the second movie that there are parts of humanity that have just nothing to them and act on their bad instincts. Take the scene of when Cillian Murphy's character and the deaf daughter are down at the harbor near the lake. We see a group of terrible humans try to torture them and take their stuff. You don't see something like that here in A Quiet Place Day 1. You actually see almost every human character in this movie act on their good instincts and their goodwill to help others, even if that means making decisions that might put them at risk or a decision that will haunt them for their life. This is a great way to move into talking about the characters, of which I really did love, especially when it comes to our two main leads played by Joseph Quinn and Lupita Nyong'o. Their performances here are two of, I would say, arguably the best of 2024 so far. Their ability to act out scenes when not speaking at all is masterful, but also plays really well into the characters that they are. They are people that just want to survive this horrific situation, but also, as the film progresses, they don't want to leave each other's sides. There is always a moment that happens within the story where one has to help the other, and herein lies why I mentioned that theme of the good in humanity. They care for each other very much in a way that doesn't come off as a very cliche way of looking at one character potentially betraying the other for their betterment or their survival. They stick by each other's sides through every minute, and this is fundamentally why I loved these characters as much as I did. Yes, the actors did do their job well, but I also feel like the writing of their characters maybe even did a better job to complement each other together. This is also why near the end of the film, there is an event that happens between the two that I did not see coming, and it almost left me emotional. I definitely could have gotten emotional if I had spent just a little bit more time with them, but that's to the film's disservice of having an hour and 40-minute runtime. When now talking about spoilers, there are three moments in this film that ended up hitting me the hardest. The first is where Joseph Quinn's character, Eric, goes to retrieve medicine for Lupita Nyong'o's character, Sam, given she is currently dealing with cancer and needs treatment. He could easily have said no, given the risk to do it, but he put that aside and went to get that medicine. Another moment that I loved was when our characters find themselves in this bar with a musical stand for a band to play in. Eric tries to bring out some relief in that scene by mimicking a magic show show trick with cards, and then going out and getting a pizza for Sam. Sam, at many points throughout the film, always talks about how she wants to go and get a slice of pizza, which I will say jokingly, I think is a great motivation to have to give her into this situation. The only thing that she wants in the world is pizza, and if that's what she wants to get before she dies, then I'm inspired by that, because who doesn't love a good slice of pizza? It was also in this moment that led up to my favorite scenario between their characters, where Sam realizes that it is the end of the road for her, and she gives her cat Frodo to Eric as she tells him to escape out and get on the boats filled with people getting out of the city. A sacrifice that really hit me in that moment, because she realized that there was nothing else that she could do. She achieved her motivation, and the cancer itself in her body had already done its part in getting her so sick that she would die very soon anyway. That is essentially how the film ended as well, with her walking down the street, listening to music, and then unplugging it, giving the aliens all they need to listen and come and kill her. And again, the reason this moment hit me the way it did is because the film had done such a great job to lead us up to that moment by giving us the great character development that we had with those two specifically. Eric is able to eventually get away and escape with the cat and get on board the boat, where he is met by Djimon Hounsou's character, which helps to tie in that storyline as well, given where we know his character goes in the second film. Speaking of Djimon, he is really good in this movie for the short amount of runtime that he has. To this day, I think that he is arguably one of the top 5 best working actors out there who nobody talks about, if at all. Remember when I mentioned the idea about making a decision that will haunt you for life? Well, that is something that he goes through in this film at the beginning. He ends up killing someone because they freaked out at the sight of the military taking out the bridges connecting the city to the rest of the boroughs around it. It was a decision that I could see on his face really hurt him, but at the end of the day, he had to do it to protect people as well as his family. Alex Wolff is also the other more well-known actor that shows up in this movie. He is the kid from Hereditary, if anyone remembers that film. He was fantastic there in that role, and then I thought he also was good here. He plays the nurse of all the cancer patients at the hospital that Sam is at, and while he doesn't stay for long given he gets killed, I think his role helped to shape the trajectory of someone like Sam down the line. All in all, the point that I'm trying to get across through this video is that I think it's just a very well-written story of the good human nature that I feel like many people wish to see in all humans when it comes to dire situations. I feel like even at an hour and 40 minutes, I was able to just get enough for this. Now, it is by no means a perfect movie. Even at an hour and 40 minutes, the pacing was just a little off, and the movie actually felt like it was a little longer, almost at 2 hours, give or take. There are also some horror cliches written into it with regards to human decision-making that you could easily point out in saying that that was kind of dumb to go through with. But then I also have another critique that the film I feel like goes through, that it's more in line with how I view it, and I think others might disagree, but I do kind of wish that there was a little bit more given to us through the aliens. I know that that's not what this story is about, but I was hoping that you could just sneak a tad bit of lore in to what's going on with them. In the second movie, I felt like we got that with the idea that they don't do well in water, but also came to Earth through a giant meteorite. We got those two things yet again here in this movie, so there wasn't too much of an expansion about them. Again, I know that that was not the point of the film, but I thought I'd just point that out, given I can tell that this franchise will be making more movies in the future since its success at the box office right now is showing, and I want to see the expansion of this conflict more in the future. To give some final thoughts on the film, we talked already about the characters and the story, but I also felt like I enjoyed the film as well when factoring it in with regards to its horror roots, with making sure that this franchise stays as one of the truest to the idea of what tension can do to a person experiencing it. I thought this particularly came well with how it was directed by a new director, in this case with Michael Sarnoski. He also wrote this movie as well. He recently did a movie called Pig with Nicolas Cage that I have not seen, but I have heard great things, which is probably why he got this gig to direct. I think he understood the project at hand and really nailed down the directing, especially with the actors as well. The visual effects of the aliens still look good, even for a third film. I thought that the cinematography for a setting like this in New York City was also done particularly well when really shaping what the city actually looks like. Sometimes I couldn't even tell if they actually did shoot a scene within the city and had to close it down for so many blocks, so I would say that that is what makes it look really, really good. I also thought that there was a particularly good musical score to the film as well. but not so incredible that I will be downloading it to my Spotify playlist. If there's anything, again, that I want people to take away from this review and commentary of the movie, is to adhere to the stuff I talked about at the beginning about the themes of the movie that really, really shine through more than anything, and why I find that A Quiet Place Day One is a very beautiful yet haunting film about the good in humanity when facing an apocalyptic event ready to wipe them all out. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow film nerds, that is where the video is going to end. Leave your comments down below about what you thought about this film if you have seen it already. If you want to see more moving forward from me on this channel with regards to film, and you enjoyed this one, hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and turn on that notification bell to be updated for when I upload again. So yeah, that's a wrap, folks. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you all soon for the next video.